you honestly, there's only one definition of sustainability which applies to all of us, people, the planet, and businesses. And the definition that I like to use is that businesses have to work towards creating four kinds of value at the same time for them to be truly businesses contributing towards sustainability. The four values are environmental sustainability, 2, social justice, 3, economic sufficiency, and 4, spiritual well-being of all human beings. So these four dimensions really make for value for us as human beings. And the idea really is that any business that has to contribute to the well-being of our planet and be life-affirming cannot but be focusing on these four dimensions of what I call true value. So any business which is truly going to be called itself sustainable, and not merely financially sustainable, but sustainable as contributing to life, contributing to the well-being of our planet, even as it is producing goods and services that enhance the quality of life of people, that business alone is sustainable. Well, the conversation was a good one, to tell you honestly, but at the same time it was a little on the surface. Let me give you an analogy. Supposing I were to share with you that sustainability and getting into the groove of being a sustainable business, or a business that's responsible towards the social, environmental, and economic responsibilities of all its stakeholders. For getting into that, you got to dive deep, and we got to really transform the way businesses are run. We got to transform the way businesses measure their success. We have to transform their business models, which say I'm successful or I'm not successful. Now, the discussion that we had was only about disclosures related to environment, social performance, and governance. And what I heard was that many of the my esteemed panelists were saying that there has to be an incentive for them to disclose what they're doing in ESG. To which my answer was that how would you feel if a surgeon were to tell you that, look, I'm going to take this patient for this very critical operation and I will do everything by the rule book, but I need incentives to ensure the life at the end of the operation. What good is it? We want the surgeon to keep the patient alive and healthy. In the same way, businesses have to keep planet Earth alive and healthy. So don't tell me about disclosures needing incentives. It is the right thing to do. It has to be done. So I wasn't unhappy with the discussion. After all, my esteemed colleagues had some very, very interesting insights. However, I think there is a need for us to think very, very clearly about the fact that the time has come for every man, woman, child to think differently about what business is all about. I started off by saying that true sustainability requires businesses to be life-affirming. It has to be that way and that way alone. First of all, I want you to know about the process that we use to create the NVGs, or the National Voluntary Guidelines as they call now. We crafted those 9 principles in a very, very interesting manner. We actually created some drafts and we went about the whole country syndicating these 9 or 10 ideas that we had with businesses in the small and medium sector, large houses, as well as companies in between. And only when we had a complete buy-in from all these stakeholders did we finally come up with the 9 principles of the NVG. So there already was a great deal of appreciation and understanding that these 9 principles are critical for the well-being of this country. And these 9 principles of the NVGs are a uniquely Indian model for enabling a diverse range of businesses from the micro to the large to do things that will transform them in a sustainable manner. So that was a very, very important thing that we did. It was syndicated across a very, very large stakeholder group. So there was receptivity even when the thing was released in the first place. Thereafter, we were very, very happy that the Securities and Exchange Board of India made it mandatory for the top 100 listed companies to report on the business reporting, the business reporting format, the BRR, which takes the 9 principles into account and says how have you performed on them. And this is part of the annual report which has to go to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So businesses have now no option, especially if they're listed and in the top 100 companies based on market capitalization, they have no option but to understand the principles and to apply them. And no company would like to apply or report on something unless they do something about it. So it's really working as in a very beautiful cyclical manner to incentivize and push company managements to start doing things on the 9 principles of the NBG. I'm personally very, very happy about that. The only thing I would like to also, however, mention is that now that the new Companies Act has come up with Section 135, which talks about 2% spending for CSR, I would like to remind all our viewers and those who might see this program that it is not something that you can replace the NBGs with. The 2% spend is really a bit of money that companies are going to set aside to promote principle number 8 of the NBGs, which talks about lending a hand for the government's inclusive development agenda. So the two are now instruments towards the same objective. It is not as if the NBG is to be dumped and you take on this 2%. No. And anybody who thinks like this hasn't got it. So my short answer to you therefore is I'm very happy the way it's going forward, as long as we all understand how the new 2% rule fits with the larger commitment of this nation and our citizenry to creating a future that is environmentally sustainable, socially just, spiritually uplifting, and economically sufficient.